And there we go. All right. Evan. That's the intro now. I just yell your name.
We're back.
We're back, episode number 141 of My Cup of Tea. Evan, I like these because we get to talk of a variety of things.
Yeah, we're just bullshitting today. You know, it's been a while since we came back, or since we've been on air. I think our last episode was like December 20th, maybe before that, something like that, 19th, 20th. But now we're back, catching up on everything we watched over the Christmas. Not everything, you know. I watched a lot of shit. A lot of the most important stuff that we watched over Christmas break, the New Year's break, and now we're back. If people did not see our last episode, though, we did come back earlier last week talking about the most recent episodes of Skeleton Crew. So check those out because the finale is this week. And Nathan, I don't know about you. I've been seeing a lot of people like slowly catch up on Skeleton Crew. They're like, oh wow, I haven't started watching it, but like I hear it's a good binge. Skeleton Crew. That's good to hear.
Yeah,
you know,
that's always nice to see. Because it's a pleasantly delightful show.
exactly. Same thing I was talking about on air in our last podcast. It's a pleasant show, hard to dislike it. It's kind of like when you're watching a Pixar movie. Sometimes it might not be the best thing in the world, but it's incredibly heartwarming, fun, and has that nice atmosphere to it. So yeah, but let's talk about some movie news and a lot of reviews later on in the pod here. Nathan, I think the biggest one, and this is very funny. I know a lot of people are going to come on air.
I thought you were about to come in with a big thing, Nathan. I stubbed my toe today. Shit.
Yeah, I cut my leg off. It hurts. No.
Gordon?
The whole Batman news, man. This is depressing. You know, last time we were talking about it, we were just talking about Matt Reeves slowly writing the Batman. He's taken a while. He's a long process, and you were arguing. It's taking this long. It's coming out next year, Evan. Why don't they just combine realities? And I'm like, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. But then,
and I said, "You're a bitch."
No. He did, yeah. He called me the B word. It was very bad. Yeah, why are we not getting sponsored? I wonder why.
I get a bunch of like bootleg emails that are like, "We would love to partner. Here's discount code to buy our shit."
Fuck. Oh man. So yeah, that was crazy. But this past couple weeks, I think it was like right after we went live last time or the week afterwards. They hit us with a bad Christmas present, and the Batman Part 2 is getting delayed again.
We haven't talked about this.
No. We have not. October 2026 to October 2027. I think a lot of time we were talking about this, people were like, "Oh, sweet, so we get to have like Dune and the Batman," or at least it was like it might have been earlier this year because I think people were talking about like, "Hey, in 2026 we get to finally see the Batman and Dune in the same year." I remember seeing those tweets a lot recently. But then the Batman days later gets delayed now to October 2027. And Nathan, this sucks. It really sucks. And it caused a lot of like, hoopla over what's really going on here. Hoopla. Classic SpongeBob right there. So yeah, October 2027. As a result, there's an internal delay going on with Batman Brave and the Bold. I want to talk about that in a few minutes, like what's going on with there. But in regards to the Batman, Nathan, apparently some people in the know say like Matt Reeves is dealing with some personal issues in his personal life, and that could have led to a longer delay here. They still are filming this year. I think he said around the summer, fall time, they are going to start filming. The script is nearly done, but Matt Reeves is a cooker. He's like the George R. Martin of the Batman universe. It takes a long time, I guess, for him to write this supposed masterpiece. He keeps saying about how it's like people wouldn't expect who the villain is. He does say he parses online and he can see some, opinions on who the antagonist is going to be. I know online from my perspective, it's just going to be either Dr. Freeze, Mr. Freeze, or like something like that. But he said he's been keeping an eye on the people online. Did I lose Nathan? Is that me?
I think it was me. My bad.
Nathan went frozen on my screen. There you go. You're back. So yeah, it's like he's been parsing online. He's like, it's really going to surprise people. He can't wait. He's going to have a lot of fun. But people have been noticing with this delay, and if they want to continue doing more of the Batman, Robert Pattinson is going to be older than what Christian Bale was in any of the Dark Knight movies. I think he said Pattinson's going to be like in his 40s or close to his 40s. By the time Batman Part 2 comes out in 2 years. I think he's like 38, 37 right now, which is older than what Bale was in Begins, Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Rises. So it's just it's shocking. It's crazy. What do you think about all these delays for the Batman?
Well, you know, Matt Reeves spent time writing. He just like me for real. You know, it's stunning, right? Like we're going to be 5 years on past not only 5 years from release from 1 to 2, but also like hell, 1 got delayed. So it was initially supposed to come out a year before that as well. So, you know.
Oh, did 1 get delayed? I forgot about that.
It was supposed to be 2021, right? And then
wow,
COVID delays. Everyone kept making the question mark date pun.
Because I remember it was supposed to come out, I think October 2021.
Yeah.
And people are like, "Oh, it's like the Dark Halloween, whatever it's called." Yeah, and instead of Long Halloween, it came out in March and still made gangbusters in March. I think I looked up the box office recently, and the Batman made like 772 million in March, which is a lot. And holy shit, now it's gonna come out in 2027, 6 years since it was originally going to come out. So it's so weird because when I was like, I think last episode we were hypothesizing what's the deal with the Batman in comparison to Brave and the Bold, which is the DCU Batman. And I was saying, like, because you were saying, like, are they really going to have 2 Batmen in the same universe at the same time? And I'm like, well, you'll have the Batman in 2026. You could have the Brave and the Bold in 2027, and then, you know, they won't be that close to each other. Audiences won't mind it really. But with now the Batman getting delayed another year, that just automatically delays the Brave and the Bold, the new DCU Batman, which people have been not up in arms, but like intrigued about, even more so in the public eye, because in episode, I want to say the penultimate episode of thank you, Derpy. As Batman fan, I don't want to see Batman as DCU Batman. We'll get to that in a second. But like in the penultimate episode of the Creature Commandos, we do see a snippet of the DCU version of the Batman, kind of, where we see Phosphorus, one of my favorite characters from the show. You know, he becomes Phosphorus. He becomes like this big crime boss, whatever. But then we see a snippet of Batman, and that's when you know he's in Argus facility. So it's like he got beat up by the Batman, and you know he looks like the Batman. It's silhouetted, and apparently James Gunn said like initially the writers and the animators showed him a lot of images, and he's like, nope, I don't want it like that. I don't want it like that. I don't want it like that. And eventually he just vetoed it all and said, we're just doing a silhouette. He told this to Justin Horowitz. But that got people talking. That got people talking about like, okay, we're just seeing DCU Batman and we're teased in Creature Commandos, but now with the Batman being delayed, when are we finally going to see the Batman Brave and the Bold? Andy Muschietti, who is the director, came out recently and said, like, you know, it's still a work in progress or whatever. I think he said some bullshit, some like corporate speak based. I'm not even going to reiterate it. I think 1,000. My new theory for the new year: Andy Muschietti is not doing Brave and the Bold. He's just not. He's not touching that movie. It's going to happen. But with him directing it, I don't think so. But Nathan, I say all this to say, I might be coming around to what you were cooking. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy because I was shut up. I was like I was like Derby. Can you pull up Derby's comment, the second one, please? I didn't read that one. I was like Derpy. He says, I think a Pattinson was top tier Batman. I just don't think the tone would fit. It's too grounded. And I'm of the same wavelength. But then I see edits, and then I see images. I see Photoshops. And I'm like, this could work.
You're so easily swayed. You didn't think past the first step.
I'm a consumer at the heart. And I will say, first and foremost, audiences being confused is the most bullshit excuse for movies in a long time. When was the last time an audience was so confused it drastically affected a movie performing in the theater?
Ask your father.
Maybe. Because he was confused when he watched Gladiator too. He was like, is that supposed to be his son? I'm like, that's the point of the movie. But yeah, I don't know. I think audience confusion is not a thing. It's not a thing. They just go see movies.
General audience?
Yeah.
Who is the general audience now?
Good point. Are we part of the general audience?
Yeah, is the obsession the norm?
To a degree.
It depends on like what the film is.
People being like fans of the MCU, for example, like the general audience wasn't familiar with a lot of MCU stuff. I would argue like phase 1 and phase 2. But by the time phase 3 rolled around, the general audience was so ingrained in the MCU. And that's why like every movie was doing like 700, 800 million. Because they were there for every step of the way. They didn't pick and choose. Now though, phase 4, audiences are now picking and choosing. So depends on the franchise and where the franchise is at. But for DC movies, for Batman in particular, I don't think audiences care. They want to go see a Batman movie, whether it's Pattinson or somebody else. But again, with Pattinson delayed to 2027, this has me thinking, are they even going to do a Batman Part 3? Is this franchise going to end with Part 1 and Part 2?
I think they could do 3.
I think they could do 3. But if they do 3, that's just automatically going to extend into inevitability of you will crossover or you will coincide with the DCU's Batman if they are not together. If they are not together, it's going to cause the confusion that people are so fearful of. Inevitably, I still think they do a Batman Part 3, mostly because I think like
trilogy,
just producers, filmmakers love the word trilogy, box office wise, and the Penguin, such a huge success. It teased a lot of like, hey, Catwoman interacting with Sophia, Batman being on the lookout for the Penguin. Now, a lot of that could be in the Batman Part 2, obviously. But with the Penguin being a huge success, the Penguin Season 2, most likely I thought would take place after the Batman Part 2 comes out. But now that got delayed, I'm like, how long will we wait for a Penguin Season 2? Will we wait 3 to 4 years?
We get it before.
It seems like if I
Where is Bruce?
Like, I feel like you could just do it before now. You could just rewrite things, just do before now. Even though it's weird, it's like for every dialogue from Matt Reeves is like the Penguin leads right into Batman Part 2. But with Batman Part 2 being delayed, Penguin came out in 2024. Do we have to wait till 2028 to see the Penguin? If it comes out after the Batman Part 2, it's like, geez, that's 4 years for a TV show. That's nuts. Like, Severance came out in 2021, and we're finally, or 2022, and we're finally seeing it in 2025. And that was a long time for a TV fan. That was like 3 years. So it's like 3 years, like the limit for a TV show. So now it's like,
you tell me I'm not getting my Hawkeye Season 2?
When did that come out?
2021.
Shit.
This November 2021.
Fuck. What's taking too long for a cat? What's her name? Kate. And Yellen a TV show. That was money in the books. That's bank.
I keep seeing like highlight reels of them and their banter, and it's like, fuck, this is great.
I saw it too, dude, over Christmas break because now it's a Christmas TV show technically, and people are watching it. I'm like, man, I miss this show. Underrated show. I had a lot of fun with it. But yeah, man, I'm like, Penguin Season 2, for one thing, could be coming out now before Batman Part 2, which was not part of the picture. That could cause some writing situations, some new switches. But most importantly as well, Nathan, there was a quote from Matt Reeves during the Golden Globes where they asked him, any update on the Batman Part 2. Because last time we heard some updates was on the Actors on Actors, where he told Zoe Kravitz, hey, I'm writing slow. It's coming along, though. Now it got delayed. Now he's at the Golden Globes. And now he's saying, in regards to the question of, hey, will this ever cross over with the Superman movie? The Superman trailer came out. It's doing gangbusters. What do you think, Matt Reeves? And we know, on the whole press for the Batman Part 1, what did he say? Nope, zero. Instant no. Instant no. Every single interview during the 2022's Batman Part 1, he would just automatically say no. He's changing his tune a little bit now. He's saying, like, it's an ongoing conversation with James Gunn. We're having internal discussions.
Legal jargon.
What?
Legal jargon.
Legal bullshit, legal jargon.
You're not allowed to confirm anything.
I'm trying to find the quote. I don't know if I can. Whatever.
Get a comment here.
Plus, it wouldn't make sense. You time jump 5 years for Batman Part 2 and another 8 years for Part 3 or something, because in Creature Commandos is 15 years difference Dr. Phosphorus flashbacks. And Pattinson's only year 2 Batman Part 1. Yeah, so Derpy, go back to that second comment here. Or the first one you put out. There we go. It wouldn't make sense unless you time jump 5 years for Batman Part 2 and another 8 years from Part 3, something like that. Because Derpy, the only situation this works out is if we come along and say, James Gunn comes along and says, the Batman universe, Batman movies are, the whole thing are prequel movies for the DCU's Batman, which could work out. Sure. It would make sense. Hey, they're just prequel movies. Cut to Pattinson still being Pattinson, just older in age as he normally is. And cut to now he's DCU Batman. That could kind of work. Just say, hey, those movies, this came before. Now we're time skipped. Now he's been Batman for a while. Because, again, James Gunn universe is every character has just already been there. Superman is like Superman year 2, I think. Something along those lines for next year Superman. I think they're doing like year 2 Superman. Wonder Woman's been around apparently. Batman's been around. James Gunn is confirmed. So these characters have been around. That's just James Gunn's universe in general. So again, Derby, we could just say this is a prologue. Just like the Homecoming trilogy was a prologue to Spider-Man. Kidding. Not really. So yeah, man. Like, I'm starting to be on board with it. Because I finished Creature Commandos. Stop it, you evil villain, you. Anyway. Dark side. Because, I'm just like, man, I wanted to be separate. But that was on the basis that, like, we'll get Batman Brave and the Bold sooner than later. I don't know if we're going to get it sooner than later. I think Andy's gone. Mm-hmm. Next, it's already 2025, guys. Happy New Year's. Next year, we're getting Supergirl. Or no. This year, we're getting Superman. Next year, Supergirl. 2027 is the Batman Part 2. 2028 now, Brave and the Bold at the earliest. And that's even 30? Like, oh, God. Yeah. We're going to be 30 with I'm going to be like 32. But, like, we're going to be older. I'm not using the word old. We're going to be older when the Batman Part 2 comes out, when Brave and the Bold comes out. It's just like, James could announce this like 4 years ago. I don't even know when, but like, damn. There's only 2 directors that you're thinking of, Derpy? What we talking about? What 2 directors?
In what sense? Because we got directors for the projects.
Are you saying there's options? There's only 2 directing options for Brave and the Bold if they don't do Andy? Is that what you're saying? Because I have no idea who they don't get, if they Gunn himself or Raimi. I did say, I went online, I was like, I would not be surprised if Gunn just writes the Batman. He's been talking about it nonstop over the past couple of days, doing Creature Commandos press. And he understands the Batman character so well. It's hard not to if you're the head of DC. He says Batman is the best or the most famous comic book character in the world. He's had ideas for a long time. Yeah.
If I were him, because there's so much to run in the full course DC, I would just bring on a writer that he knows and trusts. Which I know it's like a simple thing to state, but like genuinely, like, it's not just like hire the random successful guy that, like, here's this new white guy that had one success. Like, genuinely, like someone who's like he knows or he's worked with or he penned something with together and be like, hey, I know you understand as well. Can you pen to paper the next project?
Which sounds so simple. Is the Grant Morrison run, apparently. I haven't read the Grant Morrison, because this is about the one. Yeah, Derby. This is the one with Damian Wayne. At least
Right.
that's what he said initially. That could have easily changed, from here to now.
This is
But
always the tricky bit of announcing projects. Because this is a different thing from like when granted, Marvel has had a lot of like shifts and stuff lately when they do their phase announcements, but like
it's never really plot based.
no, but like when you do think of like when they're announcing like the big iconic Phase 3 announcement that they did in the whole showcase there, most of those movies were already headed into production.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like here, obviously they're working on these projects, but every like highlight and display was like comic art and like, hey, roadmap is what we're gonna try to adapt. There's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I look forward.
We talked about it when that aired, and we were like going crazy over it. But we were like, James Gunn didn't want to do this. This is corporate written all over it. Corporate loves the idea of like plans. Audiences love plans.
I remember DC's DCU announcement on the fucking CW special.
Oh God, that was so embarrassing.
Remember that one?
Oh, it was with Kevin Smith.
Hey.
I love you, Kevin. But it was just so funny when he's just like, oh, in Green Lantern, right? Oh shoot, we're doing this. Oh shoot, we're doing this. Like
Flash is coming in 6 years.
In 6 years. Oh man. I've not read, but the first issue of all the chasing when the frog is a villain. Now that's something up Gunn's alley just saying. That's weird. So Derpy, is this Grant Morrison one that you're saying? Is this the one with Damian Wayne? Because I haven't read the only Damian Wayne run I've honestly read is when Damian Wayne is in charge of the Titans. It was a DC like Rebirth Titans thing. He said, yeah. I have to check that out. Oh, I did check it out because I remember he announced it in that same day on Amazon Prime. That issue, that whole volume, and the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow got like picked up off of Amazon Prime instantly, and I wasn't able to get it. But I bought Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow digitally.
Right on.
And I wish listed Batman.
I will say like credit to like those very early chapter 1 DCU announcements. They showed like the image for Superman, like All-Star Superman, which is like the most like optimistic adaptation that's been written. And then I see the trailer and I'm like, well, shit, yes, it is.
Exactly.
But back on the track of basically we're discussing the will they, won't they Pattinson in the DCU.
Yeah.
Which I've been championing it. I know like a lot of people think like it wouldn't fit because of the grounded nature of it, the grittiness of it all, the dark tone. But like again, my argument as always is like every book in the DC shared universe can have different tones and exist in their own different cities, and they could still collectively be in the same universe. Even if and I said this before as well, like even if you look at something like the DC animated shows, which is honestly like a great template to work off of.
The DCAU is like the best connected universe ever, I think.
The Batman animated series gets pretty dark at times, comparatively to something like the Superman show, but like they all come together in the Justice League, and Batman's still very serious comparatively to like the Flash there, and it all still worked together.
I need to start from the beginning on the DCAU. I'm pretty sure, which is again DC animated universe. I'm pretty sure there's like a timeline online if I looked, because those were some of my favorite shows growing up. About halfway through the run, apparently Bruce dies and Dick Grayson takes the helm as Batman. Oh, I remember that. People were talking about that when they made that image on like Brave and the Bold with Batman and then Damien right there. That wasn't Bruce. That was Dick, or that was Robin, who was Batman in that image that James Gunn showed. And I think honestly, we all know Robin or Dick Grayson isn't going to be Batman. I don't think so.
They're they want to do a whole Bat family, so they're going to want Batwoman, Nightwing, Jason Todd, probably.
By the way, I found the comment that Matt Reeves said. He says, "It really comes down to whether or not it makes sense. What the future brings, I can't really tell you. We'll have to wait and see where that goes." I'm like, This is not the no that you automatically were talking about.
Yeah, when I hear that, I'm hearing okay, nothing's concrete yet. However, they are looking at the possibility.
They have a gun to my head, and they really want me to do this. But
they
I really
have a DUNN to my head.
Yeah, and Pattinson, when he was doing, what was Pattinson doing press for recently? I don't know. Was it Mickey 17? Something.
Right?
Or yeah, that's coming out in April now. But he was saying, I know they swapped it with the Sinners with Ryan Coogler's The Sinners.
Sinners coming out this month.
Sinners is supposed to come out in March, but now it got Mickey's April date, and Mickey 17 now got Sinners March date. So they just swapped each other. So it's March and April now. Okay. But I'm with you, man. By the way, sorry, Robert Pattinson. Whenever he's doing press for that movie, they're just gonna keep asking about Batman all of March and April. But I'm with you, man. It's like that is way different from what they were saying, what you were saying earlier, and it just screams to me that like, and the rumor was before this comment was made. The rumor, I think, from Jeff Snyder or somebody like that. The rumor was that Pattinson just doesn't mind, going to the DC universe. He doesn't care. Matt Reeves is really the one who really wants it to be separate, and then James Gunn is like wants it to be combined. I don't know how true that is at all, obviously, because James Gunn, Matt Reeves is having such a big stranglehold over the DCU now. He's doing Batman Part 2, the Penguin Season 2, and what were we talking about? He also has a leg in something else, Batman related.
Is he a part of Clayface?
He might be a part of Clayface, or maybe not. That's Mike Flanagan thing. Clayface is filming this year, by the way. Again, it comes out next year as well, 2026. Would have to be Part 3, and there would have to be time jumps. Yeah, after Part 3 comes out, I've always wanted Gyllenhaal as Batman. I think he would be a great Batman. He has the physique for it. He's able to get built. If you guys have watched most of his, Buffy or movies. So I think Gyllenhaal would be a great Batman. But yeah, I think there would have to be time jumps. There would just have to be. But I think it could work. Just be like, hey, this takes place. This is a prequel universe. And when they meet, people won't care.
So that said, I don't want like older, disheveled Batman with
no.
And I want them as
if Pattinson's supposed to be like 40 when he does Batman Part 3 in universe, he'll probably be like in his 20s. I don't know how old he was in the Batman Part 1.
I think he's like 28.
Yeah, I assumed late 20s. Batman Part 2 would be early 30s. Part 3 would be late 30s. That's still young Batman. And then you say like 5 years later, it's present day. I don't know. But yeah, so that was just an interesting series of events there. It's unfortunate that it got canceled, or that got delayed, not canceled. But that's where we go. It's been a while since some of these news stories. I'm like, we have not talked about this. I think this was after we went live last time. But like, there's a new Mummy film coming out next year. Called there's no title for it. It's just called The Mummy. There's an image of a script. Lee Cronin is directing and I think writing it as well. But I know he's directing it. Lee Cronin, if people aren't familiar, he did the latest Evil Dead film, Evil Dead Rise, which Nathan and I reviewed last year. When did it come out? Last year?
I think last year. Jeez, not 24, but 23, I think.
23. Jesus. I felt like just yesterday I watched that movie.
I remember the title card.
That means we did the Evil Dead commentaries in 2023. Man,
I guess so.
It feels like so soon.
Because it would be higher on my list if it was this past year.
But yeah, Evil Dead Rise coming out next year by Lee Cronin. Mummy by Lee Cronin. And I'm excited for this. This is the week of The Wolfman coming out from Universal. I'm excited to see that from Lee Whannell. We'll talk about that next time we have our podcast. But yeah, I think this is a great direction. I was so ecstatic when I saw this. And Derby says, hear me out for Gordon for Brave and the Bold. It's a bit older actor, but it'll be perfect fit.
Well,
who do you think?
You leave me in suspense.
I know, right? Drum roll,
you
please.
Can type a big message.
He's still thinking of the actor.
4, 3.
We're not gonna pressure this.
Well, he got it.
That's a way older actor.
Oh, shit. How old is Tom Selleck now?
He did like 20 seasons of Blue Bloods.
Yeah. Fuck that. If I think of like a Gordon brought to life, it would probably be him.
Tom
Stop
says
that.
his ass is 79. They're not hiring him.
Dash Evan.
That stash is iconic, of course. He's 79. He might croak when they're filming the Batman. So
It's a stash only Henry Cavill could grow.
right?
79.
He's 79, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, he's around the bend.
Yeah, people are dropping, man. It's sad. It's sad. But yeah, I'm excited for this. In the same vein, they are doing a new Anaconda movie, which is funny because I recently watched the OG Jennifer Lopez Ice Cube Anaconda movie.
Yeah.
Sometime last year, I think it was over like summertime or whatever. But I did an Anaconda rewatch, and I was like, man, this rocks. Okay, so here it is. It's coming out this year. It stars Paul Rudd and Jack Black, coming out December 25th, 2025.
So clearly, it's a serious horror film.
Yeah, I know, right? Ugh. So the film follows a group of friends facing midlife crises. Never heard that before. Who decide to go to the rainforest and remake their favorite movie from their youth, Anaconda.
Is this a
wow?
It's a Blair Witch 2 situation. The movie
How many Blair Witch 2?
It's like the movie exists in universe, not in you, but the movie exists in this sequel.
Probably.
But then they're like,
that's what it sounds like here. It's funny. I never read the blurb, and I'm like, oh wow, okay. You know, I'm a huge Anaconda fan, and it is very like cheesy, but it wasn't made to be like super cheesy. I don't think. I think you just look at it, and it's like, oh, it's weird. Who's the guy from the OG Anaconda? Let's see. It came out in 1997. Man, it's been a while. But John Voight was like this creepy dude who was like the villain. It was cool. It was crazy. Are we ever getting the Clue movie remake? I don't think so, Derby. It's so hard to do those. Not hard, but just like of its time. Like there's multiple endings in theaters, and what's going on here? Can they do that? Can you replicate that?
It would be fun, but you know, it'd probably just be like what exists, and then you just maybe get some deleted scenes that could have been the ending.
Yeah, I would want it. Like people are really eating up Rian Johnson's Knives Out.
I think your better bet would be it would be on streaming, and they would prompt you like they sometimes did with Netflix, which is like, you know, choose which ending.
Yeah,
would be fun.
That'd be cool. Bandersnatch.
Yeah, the only one we know.
Right. But yeah, so what do you think about these movies, Anaconda and The Mummy, coming out next year?
Anaconda, you know, I hope the humor works well. I like Paul Rudd. I like Jack Black.
Yeah.
I need to revisit Anaconda. Frankly, it's been a hot minute.
We could do commentary of that. It's a funny movie.
Screams Sci-Fi Channel to me.
It's just like, you know, I love a good monster movie, but with monster comedy movies, it's a hard blend. I wonder how they do it.
You know, when they act scared, but it's like it's funny the way they act. It's a little less suspenseful, right?
Exactly. It's like I'm not taking it seriously. It reminded me of like the movie I hated, Y2K last year. Like people are dying because of this robot invasion. I'm like, I don't care because you're laughing, or you're like, oh, what's going on, dude? Oh shit, he died.
We were on a similar wavelength with Y2K, though I will say, and I'm sure this will be a situation here if they could pull it off. Like if the Anaconda looks good, it's a plus.
That's a big one. CGI wasn't that great in '97, but it still looked pretty menacing. CGI is obviously involved. Great call. I don't know. Great question. Sometimes. I don't know. I think it was mostly CGI. But yeah, it's like they played it seriously. There was like some real threatening danger between them and John Voight. And then the Anaconda was like always the ever-present danger. But John Voight was like oh my God, this guy's creepy. And John Voight was like really locked in. And everybody else was just like there surrounding him and just fearful of him, but playing the serious. But he just had funny moments, like unintentionally funny moments. But I wouldn't say it's a comedy in any sense of the word. Right. It's just a movie you look back on fondly. Kind of like the people in this movie are apparently looking back on that movie fondly, Anaconda. So it could be funny, but like you said, if Jack Black is like, oh, well, that's crazy, and Paul Rudd gets his head eaten up, and it's just like, oh man, Paul, no.
his head's being swallowed, and he's like, guys.
Oh God,
I can see it.
I don't want it. I can't see in here, guys. I'm like, oh no, I don't want.
I knew I should have stayed home. Type thing.
But it's coming out this Christmas. What's the big Christmas? Oh, Avatar is the big Christmas movie this year.
Avatar's this year?
Yeah, Avatar.
Avatar's this year?
Fire and Ash. Yeah.
I have something to live for.
Jesus. Happy New Year, everybody.
That's always the measure for me. Is like, God, if the things suck, like, what's to live for? Oh yeah, that movie I anticipated. But in regards to the Mummy, however, very exciting. I would love some gnarly body horror with it. Like, I imagine they'll probably go rated R.
Mm-hmm.
And because there's some for a PG-13 film, the 1999 Brendan Fraser Mummy, as fun of a movie that is, has some horrific visuals with like the petrified souls of that Imhotep stealing to regain his physical form. So that's a very compelling angle to explore, especially if you can like really get intense with it.
I agree. Those are some of my favorite movies of all time, especially the first one. The second one I also really, really like, but the first one's so good. But hey, those are action adventure movies. Yeah. I've never seen the OG Mummy movie from like the 20s or whatever.
Yeah. It's slow.
Yeah, I mean that's how all those movies were back then. Yeah, very slow.
Yeah, but some work more than others. But like, yeah, the Mummy's a little dry.
Okay,
but
I still gotta check it out.
And goddamn, dude, the fucking use of the scare. I think that's the scariest bit for me. That fucked me up as a kid is like the use of the scare beetles in the Mummy in '99 because would just fucking lock you in the tomb with it.
Those were like the way it was under your skin. You get to see it, like
it's terrifying.
Horrible. So yeah, I'm on board for like a horrific Mummy in the vein of like what we're getting with the Wolfman or Invisible Man or Nosferatu. Yeah. It's like give me maybe it's a period piece. I would like that even more. We don't know what setting or what time period it is, but I would love a period piece Mummy movie. Man, I would love that. Universal's been killing it with their monster movies, and I think Lee Cronin. I really like Evil Dead Rise. It's not my favorite of the movies. I think I still go 2013, Evil Dead 2, 3, Rise, the first one. I don't know. They're all so good.
Army of Darkness.
I like Army of Darkness a lot. It's very different from.
It's more funny than
it's more scary. Fun. Yeah. Is what do you come here for? And Evil Dead Rise was.
I'm just kidding.
What?
The Anaconda of the series. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
it's my favorite.
So yeah. Evil Dead is a franchise where it's like hard to pick a favorite because they're all good for different reasons. But yeah, I'm on board for it. We also have not even discussed Nolan's The Odyssey movie. I think we talked about it off air, but Nolan is doing The Odyssey, guys.
Wow.
I think if you're on film Twitter, you probably already heard about it, so we can't talk much more about it. But like,
so there was like talk. There was talk. I don't know if those were false reports, but there was like talks that this is going to be like a helicopter pilot drama.
Yeah, I think we even talked about that. Like that could be a thing they do. But
so is that to say, is this adaptation going to be in the modern day, or are they going to go full mythic?
He said this is a mythological epic. I forget IMAX. I forget the full press release. But they're going full mythological epic on this. I would assume nothing modern at all.
That's what I want.
The whole helicopter thing was bullshit. But yeah, this is going to be insane. I'm a huge mythology fan. You guys know me. I'm a huge Percy Jackson. I think I read about the Odyssey first, like through Percy Jackson's lens. Or we're actually going to get some Odyssey. Or is it Iliad? Shoot, Odyssey resembles.
On Homer.
We're going to see some Cyclopses in season 2 coming out this year.
This year. Everything's this year.
And Cersei is this year. Yeah, Cersei is in season 2. She's in Sea of Monsters. Cersei is in Sea of Monsters, and she's a pivotal character in the Odyssey. Spoiler alert. So yeah, anyways, Sea of Monsters was kind of like, for Percy Jackson, was kind of like symbolic of the Odyssey, because the Odyssey is a very naval voyage kind of movie. Sea of Monsters is a voyage kind of season for Percy Jackson. Not a lot of land next season. So So it's going to be very interesting. We know for the cast, Matt Damon, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Zendaya, Charlize, Lupita Nyong'o, and Robert Pattinson have been cast.
What?
Zendaya has like less screen time apparently. Robert Pattinson has less screen time apparently according to rumors, but the rest are like main cast members.
That's fun.
This is insane. People are already theorizing Matt Damon. He was the first one to be cast, so Matt Damon might be the Odysseus character. You know, he plays a lot of husbands in life. His wife Penelope, played by Anne Hathaway. People, it's rumored that's a theory, or it could be Charlize could be the wife, but Anne Hathaway seemed more like a Penelope to me. If people aren't familiar with Odysseus, a quick synopsis off the top of my head. Odysseus returning from the war. He really wants to go home. It's a sequel to the Iliad, which is a naval thing where the gods have tried to kill him a lot, mostly Poseidon. And he really wants to get back home. His wife, Penelope, is waiting to be married to Odysseus, but he's taking so long to get home. There's a number of suitors, which are potential husbands for Penelope. She doesn't want to marry those suitors, so her and her son, Telemachus, I always butcher his name. Her and her son try and delay that, or she delays it. Her son has a whole subplot with which one is it? Athena. Athena to help look for his dad. Along the way, Odysseus is persuaded or comes across Circe, Calypso, Poseidon, and other gods and other monsters on his quest to return home. And it's a very common, fantastic movie or book, whatever. I took Latin in high school from grades 7 through 9, and a lot of those Latin translations were in regards to like the Odyssey. So we had to learn about the Odyssey while doing Latin translations, so that was fun. But yeah, there's a number of translated books on Amazon Prime that are very much selling like crazy ever since this announcement. Like I looked online and like a lot of the translated versions of the Odyssey were like numbers like 10 and all in the best-selling books right now because people are really craving it because it's just one announcement. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, I think Matt Damon as Odysseus, Tom Holland as his son, Anne Hathaway as a wife, Zendaya as Athena would be cool. Charlize as Circe would be cool. Lupita as Calypso, the beautiful goddess who tempts Odysseus, and then Robert Pattinson. People say Poseidon, maybe.
Robert Pattinson as Robert Pattinson.
As Robert Pattinson is the Batman. So yeah, or mix match whatever you want for those casting, but those are just potential ideas. This is such an exciting idea. This is already rumored to be his most expensive movie. $250 million, new IMAX cameras, new IMAX technology, and this is like my most anticipated movie of next year.
Oh yeah,
easily, right? Yeah.
I think like comparatively, Nolan tends to do like a lot of practically made based projects, but then like something like this is like, well, we need some visual effects to pull off some stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be huge. It's going to be like we're very curious about like how much is it going to be practical in terms of like getting the setting right, the voyages right. I can already see that a lot of tech, because I'm a huge awards expert, not expert, but just awards kind of fan. Like the production design on the ship has to be very unique and very cool. Like the sailing, the navigation, that's very intriguing to me. Like
I can see them building a real ship. In terms of making like a vast ocean. I mean, you could find a vast ocean, but also like
just put them in the Pacific Ocean and say, "Go, Phil."
Yeah, or otherwise you could just lay plates of other elements of ocean to make it bigger, which is what they did for the explosion in Oppenheimer.
So I'm very curious. This is his next film following Oppenheimer, sticking with Universal. Is this coming out in July, same time as Oppenheimer? Is this going to play in Best Picture contention? Because he's in that era where it's like, what was his previous movie? It was Dunkirk. Was Dunkirk his first movie to get Best Picture? Was Inception? Was that nominated for Best Picture? Inception?
I forget.
Was it? I think there was some Academy Awards for Inception.
I think so.
Look that up. Inception Academy Awards. Best visual effects, sound mixing, Nominee Best Picture for 2011. That's goated.
Wasn't at the same time? Wasn't Interstellar? Didn't McConaughey get nominated for that?
Was McConaughey nominated for Interstellar? I don't think so.
I thought like recent, like of later years, he had a nomination for. I mean, well, I don't know. It was probably Dallas Buyers.
Interstellar was just nominated for visual effects, score, production design, sound, and mixing.
Could have been Golden Globe.
Maybe. But yeah, Inception was Academy Award nominated. Dunkirk obviously was. Then Oppenheimer. So he's in the era where like most of his recent films have been getting those Oscar noms. You know, it didn't happen, of course, with Tenet, or Dark Knight Rises. But like, I'm very curious to see how he embarks on this Odyssey movie. Like, same next summer, guys. Avengers, Mando and Grogu, The Odyssey. It's going to be the next Spielberg movie. It's going to be insane. I'm very intrigued for what goes on. I think it's going to be a fantastic, fantastic movie. So yeah, going over other things. James, I missed it, but James Gunn did confirm the Flash movie will have Wally West as the Flash, not Barry Allen. There was an image of the Flash in Creature Commandos briefly through a vision from I think Cersei, ironically enough, and of like the dead Justice League. And in the back there was Barry Allen. People could hardly see that, or there was a Flash. People could hardly see that. And they asked Gunn, or they asked one of the directors of Creature Commandos, like, is that Barry Allen? Is that Wally West? And I think the Gunn and the creative Creature Commandos director confirmed that was actually Wally West. So when we get to the current DCU, it's going to be Wally, not Barry. Wally famously came after. Barry Allen supposedly died during Flashpoint Paradox, right? Yeah. Wally West was the Flash for a very, very long time. People grew up on Wally West being the Flash. It wasn't until the Flash came back in I forget the series. I forget the name. If Derby's still here. I don't think did it take the New 52 for Barry to come back?
I don't know.
But Barry came back, and now the TV show is named to Barry. Crisis on Infinite Earths. Thank you. Yes. And then Crisis is either when Barry dies or Barry returns. But yeah, either way, Barry is not going to be the Flash. So it's going to be interesting with Wally being the Flash. Does that mean what's Barry going to be up to? Is he also going to still be the Flash? We're going to have multiple Flashes when we get to that Flash movie. We could see. But yeah, let's get to some interesting things here. Do you mind pulling up the last of us?
Yeah. Do you find it funny of like the idea of, like, you presume like, all right, an older Barry Allen, we have a soon to be retired Hal Jordan, and then an older Batman. What do we do?
It does have me nervous, but like I see one look at that Superman trailer and I'm like, okay, I trust you, James Gunn. I trust you. Your Superman's young. Everybody else in that movie's fucking retiring, or everybody else in the universe.
It sounds like a loophole to, like, as if like there were big execs that were like, we need to do the catch up again, and he's like, oh yeah, no, I'll just jump in the middle of the universe. And it's like, but actually,
yeah. But like Wally West as long-term Flash is going to be fine. People don't really care about the name; they just care about the Flash being there. Wonder Woman's eternal. Batman's just the only one where it's just like, should we be worried about this? How young or how old are you going here? Because your Batman needs to run for like, and I always compare this. I think the Batman character should run for as long as Tony did in Iron Man. From 2008 to 2018, 10 years, at least 10 years. So that means you should at least cast mid-30s, early 30s Batman actor, maybe even younger, but they're not doing younger because you have a whole Bat family to talk about. I think that when they cast the Batman, when the movie comes out, your actor needs to be 35 or below, I think, for your Batman. That way you can run him to like 40s, maybe even 50s, depending on the shape of the actor. That doesn't matter. But like the Batman should be older. And then by the time the Batman gets older, replace him with Dick, right? Or replace him with Robin or whatever. Like, it's because you're already establishing Robin. And then that's your next Batman. So it's like, I didn't even think about that. When they do Batman Brave and the Bold, when they have Robin or whoever, should they be thinking about like, if this Batman that we have casted now retires in 10 to 15 years, could that Robin take over? I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, that's the Flash movie.
Running the Titans because they're doing Titans, right?
They are doing Titans. Titans might come out before the Batman movie, which is wild. It's weird, but again, I trust James Gunn. And I'm excited for Supergirl is filming as of this week. Actually, Supergirl with Millie Alcock from House of the Dragon that's filming this week. Did we talk about Lobo being in the movie? I don't even have that in my show notes.
That's newer news, right?
That's newer news, but yeah, Lobo played by Jason Momoa, Aquaman, finally confirmed to be playing Lobo. This has been like in the rumor mill for a very long time.
It's probably the most perfect pull you could have got.
Exactly. So that's gonna be fun as an antagonist, one of probably many antagonists in the Supergirl movie. I'm very, very, very excited for Supergirl. Huge fan of Millie Alcock, so I think it could be a lot of fun. So yeah, that's Supergirl coming out next year. We'll probably get a trailer for that by the end of this year. But yeah, there's also some video game news. Sony had a lot of video game news as of recently. The Last of Us 2 finally has a release date of April 2025. You can watch the trailer here soon.
I got percent now.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's watch that first. And yeah, after we go over Last of Us, there's some information about Horizon, which is now a film, and Ghost of Tsushima anime. But here we go. Last of Us Season 2, April 2025. So yeah, after this and after some news here, we'll go over a lot of the movies that we saw over break. But yeah, let's watch some Last of Us Season 2. This is like my most anticipated TV show of the year. I'm so excited. Nice. Here we go here. I know the sound.
Oh.
It's coming across very clear, Nathan.
It's in your nightmares.
It is my nightmare. That's Abby, played by the GOAT, Caitlin Dever.
It doesn't matter if you have a code like me.
Is this Abby? Is this Caitlin Dever speaking?
It sounded like her.
There are just some things everyone agrees.
Dina.
Are just.
The subway level is gonna be crazy. A lot of the scale here is insane.
Wow.
The intensity. What a quick teaser. Can we break it down?
Yeah.
I have not broken it down on Twitter at all.
Man.
So I famously said, or not famously, but I always thought like, where are they going to stop this season? What are they going to do with? Because the structure of Last of Us Part 2 is so unique and different. There's already been rumors about how there's a lot of changes coming to this show. There's a lot of new things they have to do because the structure is so unique in Last of Us Season 2. This is full spoilers, by the way. Spoiler breakdown. Nathan and I have played Part 2. So pause it here, Nathan. I do think this is a dream sequence for Abby. Either a dream sequence or it's just the literal flashback. This will probably not be the only time we see a scene like this for Abby or Caitlin Dever as Abby. This scene very much is like the cornerstone of her arc. You want to say the cornerstone, the haunting moment. In Last of Us Part 2, there are two symbolic moments for both Ellie and Abby. For Ellie, it's walking down those steps, those famous steps where Ellie walks down to find Joel beat up by Abby's group. That's a very famous nightmare for Ellie. In parallel to that, Abby's nightmare is the aftermath of what happened from Joel at the end of Season 1. This is the same hospital in Utah from the end of Season 1. She's walking down towards that light at the end of the tunnel, per se, that room at the end of the room at the end of the hallway, where her father, I want to say Jacob Hyperspace? No. I want to say it starts with a J. It's like John, maybe. It's her father. He was the doctor that said, you cannot take her, Ellie. You cannot take Ellie. We need to cut her brain open to find a cure, basically. And Joel kills everybody. Her father, again, was a doctor that Joel killed. So Abby is out for revenge. And this scene haunts her because this is where she first finds her unfortunately dead father. So this scene very much haunts Abby. This could easily be a flashback, mostly because she's looking back behind her as if like, is this real?
Yeah.
So this is going to be interesting. It doesn't matter if you have a code like me. I don't remember this from the game at all. It might be very new. This whole instance right here is all new as well. Pause it. Okay. First of all, go back to the Ice and Tommy. This is Tommy back at Jackson in Last of Us Season 1, episodes. I want to say 6. Yeah, episode 6. Where they go to Tommy's place, and Tommy is Joel's brother. There seemed to be some kind of attack on the settlement. In Last of Us Part 2 of the game, there was never an attack on the settlement to this scale. There was just an attack on Tommy and Joel when they were out riding. So this could be brand new. I'm very excited to see more Tommy. And the scope is just so big. A lot of cast members, a lot of weapons. Pause it right here. Holy shit, Nathan, this is big. This is big. Because I always thought Abby's story, they're just saving for part 3. I think they casted a lot of Abby's crew, which is important because, they did because we talked about it on air. Abby's crew is important because they're there in like the first episode, maybe second episode, depending on how they do it, for season 2, where they beat up Joel. And that's where you had to cast them. But Abby's story mostly takes place following Ellie day 3. Day 2. Day 3. Yeah, day 3. This scene is the beginning of Abby's storyline. Like, this is Abby day 1, I believe. Where she is coming back from somewhere, I forget. She gets kidnapped, beat up by some Seraphites, which are right here. The hook blade, very symbolic of the Seraphites. And if you look on the right, it's a little bit blurry because we had a pause it here. But yeah, you see a guy struggling on the right above like a log. If you look to the right of the screen, not the person with the weapon. This is a famous scene with the lighting and everything where Abby's like choking, she's about to get killed, but then Yara, ex-Seraphite, saves her brother, Lev, and Abby, and they escape together for the first time. Lev and Yara, I do not think have been cast, but this scene is so important here. I'm just like, either this is Abby, and they're showing this scene already, which is weird to me. Because we only have 7-8 episodes. I figured this is going to be Ellie's POV with a little bit of Abby intermixed, of course. Maybe a lot of Abby intermixed. But this scene takes place after, like, I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen here. Or the other theory is this could just be the Seraphites killing a random person. And this is a showcase of the Seraphites' power and the Seraphites, the fear that the audiences should have in regards to the Seraphites, this faction. So I don't really know. It's one of those two. Either it's just a random scene, or this is obviously a play. The show's play on what happens to Abby in her escape. I'm not sure. And that's the GOAT, Jeffrey Wright, playing the boss of the Wolves. Isaac. Isaac. Thank you. I was like, what's his name? Isaac. Thank you. That's why I paid Nathan the big bucks.
Oscar Isaac.
Yes. He got bald. So Oscar Isaac. Kidding. Isaac is the head of the Wolves. In Last of Us Season 2, we're going to see 2 factions, the Wolves and the Seraphites. This is mostly an Abby storyline. But if we're getting Isaac is also on the same, she sees Isaac in the morning. Isaac sends her on a mission. Mission goes south on the way back, and that's when she gets captured in that previous scene that we just paused. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But I knew we were going to see more Isaac, and even Jeffrey Wright explained how like Isaac's going to have a lot to do, or there's going to be more to explore with Isaac compared to the game, which I'm excited to see.
Yeah. Who is this here?
A dead person.
Well, maybe.
I have no idea what thing this is from. I can't even guess. This is Stalker, or it could be Chained Up. Is that Chained Up? I can't.
No, there's no chain. That's like
it's just blood.
Well, it could be armor. Looks like padding.
Yeah. There are just some things, and this is, of course, Ellie and Dina running away in the beginning of probably episode 1.
Yep.
Man, Isabella Merced.
Wow.
Beautiful. Fantastic.
Wow. Evan. Wow. I am
Man,
smitten.
me too. Somebody's like, how can somebody have that much makeup in the apocalypse? The fuck up. The fuck up.
I'll kill
Fuck
you.
up. I cannot wait to see the relationship, dude. That is probably my most excited aspect of this. Seeing Isabella and Bella. Bella Ramsey, right? Is that her name?
Yeah,
Bella
that's
Ramsey.
right.
Isabella and Bella. And their romance together. I cannot wait. The makeout scene when they're smoking weed together, that's gonna be a great scene.
All right. I
need that scene.
I think that we saw a clip, right, of them. Didn't they? Don't they have the "Take on Me" guitar scene?
They do. That's definitely happening. Oh,
Which I think is like optional. You could accidentally miss if you play it.
Yeah, I skipped it on my second playthrough, I think, or maybe my third, and I was like, "Oh shit, I missed it! I forgot it's optional."
Monster.
I forgot, but I recorded it on my PlayStation, so I can just watch it whenever. It's such a great scene. It's a beautiful scene, and it's on YouTube now, but obviously,
Ooh,
pause it right here.
Mountains.
Somebody already said, "Hey, if you're wondering if there's going to be any," this is from not a spoiler account, but somebody said like, if you're wondering if there's going to be any changes to The Last of Us Season 2, just look at this scene right here. And I'm looking and I'm like, this is obviously Joel and Tommy. And I think that's Abby riding behind Joel. There's two characters on the dark brown horse on the right. I think there's Abby behind Joel and there's Tommy on the right. I'm like, that seems normal to me. Or maybe not. I don't know if they rode on horseback in the Abby playthrough. Or on
I don't think so.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think because like Abby put to die, Joel shoots the creature in the head, and they just run. Maybe they don't go on horseback. But either way, there's horses, and then I'm pretty sure again this is Joel, Abby, and Tommy. Abby, who's playing like the what was me character.
Right.
This is Abby after her father's grave, probably after having that nightmare that we just saw in the beginning of this trailer.
Right.
But I said, is it too late or too early? I mean, to give Caitlin Deaver for a zebra. I think Zebra season 3. I think. But I think it's too early to have Caitlin Deaver nominated for Best Supporting Actress as Abby. Last year, nominations were flooding for Pedro Pascal as Joel. Bella Ramsey could have won, arguably, if it wasn't for what's the Succession sister's name? I forget.
Sarah Snook.
Sarah Snook. She won the Emmy, I think, for the final season. Deservedly so. Phenomenal work. But I think like there wasn't a lot of dramas this past year. So I think the fall 23 dramas aren't going to be in contention. But the 2024 drama category is, I think, going to be dominated by The Last of Us. And it's coming out in April, right when Emmy voting happens. I'm like, this is perfect. But anyways, I just cannot wait. She's one of my favorite actresses. I think she's going to kill it as Abby. Yeah, this is great. She could be talking to her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend Owen, in that scene as well too.
Yeah, very true.
Anyways, again, this is the same scene of Dina, but now they're in Seattle.
Yeah.
So man, this is freaky. I cannot wait.
Wow, God, this is the new Halloween Horror Nights for sure.
For sure.
Very nice. The goat.
I'm sorry, there's a lot of we have a runner outside.
Good.
But yeah, Joel. One of the very few Joels we're gonna see this season. And I used to think like maybe all season 2 is like before Joel dies, and that's obviously not gonna be the case. I think there was an opportunity for them to delay Joel's death a bit more, stretch out that 5-year gap between season 1 and season 2.
Yeah.
And they might do that via flashbacks or some other creative means, but yeah, I don't know, because he filmed Fantastic Four pretty fast after they started filming last year, and I'm just like, oh wow, that was a quick shoot for Joel. So hope maybe surprise me, Craig. Surprise me, Neil. We'll see what happens. But this is obviously episode 1.
Yeah. Well, yeah, look at him. There he is.
They're hauling ass. Get away from us. So yeah, this is everything mine. And I always think I called it when I first saw the trailer. This is when she wakes up after getting knocked out by Abby and her crew. She sees Joel get, what happens to him. and she wakes up after because she gets her own head. She gets hurt herself. She gets kicked in the gut, and her head gets kicked, knocking her out. So I think she wakes up like, oh my God, what just happened actually happened. She's in actual pain, which is going to be heartbreaking. This is Tommy. His eye hurts. Why? Because he got kicked in the head too. He's heartbroken. Man, I'm not ready at all, guys.
Not the only time that's going to happen to his eye.
Oh, what are you talking about there, Nathan? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, not
I'm talking about sadness.
Sadness. Tommy, the unsung people like who got done worse in part 2. People argue Tommy. He lost everything. He lost everything.
He's holding on to hate.
Yeah. He was bred in hate. What was it? Creed 2, he was raised in hate. I love that line.
Man.
So good movie. And this is, of course, Ellie unleashing her anger.
Yeah. Oh, hello.
I have no idea what this is from.
Is this
explosion? It looks snowy outside. The only explosion that I know of in Last of Us in Ellie Day 1 Seattle when she's on her horse and they fall into a trap, it explodes. That could be a thing. This is, of course, the Jackson battle from episode 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a scene that people are trying to like stir up some controversy over. People think this is the scene in the hospital, Ellie, Day 2, when she comes across Abby's best friend, the black girl. I forget her name, but she's the hospital person who runs away from Ellie. At the very end of the hallway, Ellie points a gun at her. No, actually, doesn't even point a gun at her. Points like a weapon, a crowbar, or something like that. She goes full Joker on her, and beats up and kills
Jason
Jason Todd, the black friend of Abby. I forget her name right now. Gosh, trying to reveal what happened to Joel. Where is Abby? Basically, this is not that scene. I'm gonna say right now, this is not the hospital scene that people are worried about because they're like, "This is look at Ellie's face, not even threatening." Like, come on, guys. And I'm like, I don't think this is the scene. Look at the coat she's wearing. I think this is still in the tunnels. I think in the same vein of where Dina is. Like, this is that scene, I think. This is the tunnels under Seattle. This is not the hospital level, I don't think. I mean, we've seen Bella able to have that anger and that threatening look on her. And she does have a baby face, fair enough. That's just who she is as an actress. But there's a lot of controversy over, like, should they have just aged up the actress? And Caitlin Dever looks already more like Ellie than Noah. Bullshit, guys. I think Bella's going to do a great job. And I just got to say it because I said it on Twitter, not online, not on air. This Last of Us Part 2, I think we're done with the trailer now, I think, right? I think this is the last scene. Yeah. This show is not the game. I love Last of Us Part 2. There's going to be a lot of changes. We have to prepare ourselves for that. And that goes with the setting, but also goes with the characters and character choices. And I think just be prepared for Abby. People like, is Abby not like super buff? That's they really hate this TV show. This TV show is going to suck now because Abby's not buff like the games.
Man.
It doesn't matter to me. I don't give a fuck. Why do I don't give a fuck? Because a lot of the Abby scenes don't have anything to do with her weight. A lot of the Abby scenes are predicated about this trauma of her past, like we see in this trailer, and how she handles revenge post-revenge. She got what she wanted. But now what's next for you, Abby? That's why I love the Abby character, not because she's so a physical specimen as she is in the games. It never really comes up, even in her fights. It's like it's a part of her. It's a part of the fight because that's just who she is. But like nobody's like, oh my god, she's so massive. Why are you so massive, Abby? Like, it never really comes up. People have to just theorize. Oh, she built herself up in the years following her father's death to avenge her father or whatever. So I don't care that Caitlin didn't work out super well for this. I just need her to act well, and I know that's going to happen. So I don't care, man. I see a lot of hate about that. Like, man, Abby's not doing this. Bella's too young looking. They should have just recast. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, just don't watch the season then.
Right.
So that's my cup of tea.
Or lack thereof.
Or lack thereof. So yeah, this is one of the most anticipated TV shows. I have a lot of theories. I'm excited. We're going to be watching and covering every single episode bit by bit. If you have not watched our Last of Us season 1 recaps, they're still on the channel. Go watch those. Those were great. And yeah, I should rewatch the season myself because I had a very fun time watching it. But April, guys, we're going to be seeing Andor and The Last of Us throughout April and May. That's very exciting. 2 months of peak TV. Andor and Last of Us. That's very exciting. In other news, Ghost of Tsushima, which you played, right? Have you played Ghost of Tsushima?
I have, yeah. To completion. We picked different endings.
Yeah, we did. I killed the father.
Yeah,
you let him live.
I did let him live.
You asshole.
I went with
asshole.
Okay, murderer.
Yes, I've already killed tons of people up to this point. His father, or
your last remaining relative.
The last remaining relative. You're dead. You're dead. Fucking right, Nathan. But he said, either kill me so I can have like the honor of dying, or let me live so you can just dishonor me, just so you can feel good.
The whole point. The whole point of Jin's story is to go against these self-imposed traditions and to carve a better path for a chance to live.
Even if your uncle hates you for the rest of his life.
What?
Even if he hates you for the rest of his life. You will never see him again anyways. I'm like, I'm never going to see him. We're not going to run.
Yeah, and then one day he'll have a day where he had some soup and it was good soup. And you know what? He's glad he had one more day.
Maybe.
There will be something in his life.
I feel like for a complete story, Jin Sakai had changed so much. And I think to complete that transformation, yet still lovingly kill his uncle, I think there's a great mix with the killing. But either way,
I do think though, if you are watching an adaptation, which they're making, I think you should make that scene and end it ambiguous if he pulls his sword or not.
That'd be ballsy. Because again, so guys, there's a movie coming out which we're talking about is going to cover the main story of the game, and I always supported the concept of doing a Ghost of Tsushima movie. A lot of the cinematic PlayStation AAA games, Sony, PlayStation games, have all been TV series. Last of Us is getting a TV series. Uncharted, was a movie. What's the other TV series that's Sony? I guess not a lot. But anyways.
Did they make a God of War?
God of War is, I guess, in production. It still is. It was under Amazon, but I think it hit like a road snag or something. But yeah, interesting enough, they did not announce or update anybody about the God of War show on Amazon. But they did just reveal that Ghost of Tsushima, along with the movie, which is being written and directed by, I think, one of the John Wick directors.
Chad Stahelski.
I was going to say Chris.
Who has been the core of all four.
Yeah. So that movie's coming out within the next 2 years. But now they announced, as of last weekend, there's a Ghost of Tsushima anime called Ghost of Tsushima Legends. And this anime, let me look for it in my bookmark. I forget the animation studio.
Trigger. I don't know.
This will premiere exclusively on Crunchyroll, which is the anime, website for all things anime. Sony, Aniplex, PlayStation production. There we go. Takanobu Mizuno, who was the director of Star Wars Vision: The Duel, which is the first episode of season 1 of Star Wars Visions, will be directing the anime adaptation. And wow, I didn't see this. Jen Yorobuchi, who I know from Psycho-Pass, one of my favorite anime of all time. Psycho-Pass is basically like the anime version of Minority Report. Great story. And Kamikaze Doga is handling the animation production. Kamikaze Doga, again, same studio behind Star Wars Vision: The Duel. Could we see something in the vein of that same similar anime style? Maybe, maybe not. Psycho-Pass looks different from that show. We are seeing another Kamikaze Doga anime this year with Star Wars Vision Season 3, where they are returning. So we could see if they stick with the same animation style as the Duel, maybe a Duel sequel. But either way, they are the people behind Ghost of Tsushima Legends. Legend was the multiplayer add-on to Ghost of Tsushima, where you play as different samurai warriors, either the water stance, earth stance. The different stances in the game are different players in this online mode. So basically, that's a good idea to do Legends because it gives you free reign to do whatever you want in the world of Ghost of Tsushima with its style and its fighting craziness. So I like this. The Ghost of Tsushima anime, I've been saying for a long time, I think a lot more franchises should just get anime adaptations. Last episode, we talked about Lord of the Rings already? I think we did a review on here. Lord of the Rings, War of Rohirrim didn't do so well at the box office, but solid movie, great anime style. I think Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, I think is doing an anime. More franchises to do more anime, please. I would love it. So yeah, what do you think about Ghost of Tsushima getting an anime? Would you watch this?
Yeah, I think that's a match made in heaven for sure. Absolutely. I love the idea of this. I was gonna ask, did you check out any of those video game shorts that came out on Prime based on different video games?
Secret Level, I think it's called. I have not.
Yeah, I only saw one episode, which I really enjoyed. It was the Pac-Man episode.
Oh yeah, I heard that was a really good one.
It's really good. It's so bizarre, really intriguing.
Yeah, I think they're making a game about that adaptation, like a 2D side scroller. So yeah, it goes to Tsushima Legends anime 2027. 2027, I think, is also the year we'll get the movie. So we could get the movie in the game or the anime in the same year.
Perfect time to join the DCU.
Yeah, right. Ghost of Tsushima in the DCU would be funny as hell.
Ninja Batman.
So along with that, Sony also revealed a live-action Helldivers is in the works at Sony Pictures. Helldivers is a very famous game that came out last year. Helldivers 2 was a very famous game about alien invasions. I'm not familiar with the Helldivers lore at all, so I'm not even going to try to get into it. But I asked, is this going to be a comedy or a serious take? Because a lot of the gameplay, I watched a lot of Helldivers 2 gameplay because it looked very fun to play with your friends, stuff like that. They're fighting a lot of aliens. They crash humans, sci-fi, rocket ships, whatever. They crash in on planets to decimate a lot of alien creatures. Apparently, the true bad guy or the corporation, the human corporations in charge of it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the aliens are, of course, also bad as well. So it's is it going to be a comedy because it's filled with so many funny, crazy moments in the Helldiver gameplay, or is it going to be serious? We don't know. But that's going to be a live-action movie. But the one I know and love is Horizon Zero Dawn. Right. It's not going to be a TV series, as was happening on Netflix. I think that fell through. They're now prioritizing it to become a movie. Horizon Zero Dawn movie. So far, there have been 2 games in the Horizon franchise, Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden Legacy, I think it's called. And I like both of them. Gameplay is not the best, but it's a lot of fun. It took a lot of getting used to. It's very creative and cool. And for me, it's like Ghost of Tsushima. It's a very open world, but there's only a certain amount of story quests. You could honestly finish Ghost of Tsushima in 2 days if you really just stick to the story and don't do exploring or side quests, which you should in open world games.
But Evan, I want to climb the mountain.
Me too. And there's a lot of climbing in both Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon. But yeah, there's a lot of side quests in both those games, but I really don't mind them becoming movies because they're very short stories. I think Ghost of Tsushima is a bit longer because it's a 3-act structure for Ghost of Tsushima. But Horizon, not really, just discovering the history about yourself. Who is Aloy? And Horizon, if you don't know, post-apocalyptic sci-fi future where humanity has dwindled dramatically, nature overrides, and there's these mechanical monsters that threaten the landscape. And Aloy has to fend off those mechanical monstrosities. Either they're mechanical winged birds, wolves, a lot of mechanical creatures to discover why did the world turn out this way? What happened in the past society? And who really is Aloy? And I think it's a very interesting story amongst some very creative and fun gameplay. Horizon, the third game, is still in active development. But yeah, that's about it. Talking about games, that there's a whole TV series. Did you hear about that?
Yeah,
as
what?
Well? And apparently, it's gender swapped as well.
Okay. That'll go over well with people.
Yeah, already there's all like, oh, woke.
Not my yell nats.
Not my Stanley. It's gonna be Stanley at yell nats.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
That's too damn bad. I mean, there has been some. There has been like some solid criticism about like I think there was a point that Holes was like an all male prison camp and what that had to say, and like what's the message going to be across with an all women prison camp? Like the messaging just has to be different because of the prison system and modern day stuff like that. But you know, it's Disney. I don't expect them to dive deep into like the messaging of all this. They just want to make another Holes TV show.
Yeah, at best it's light touch of the racism.
Exactly.
From the past.
So we'll see how it goes. I love Holes so much. Have we still not done a commentary? Or we have. We have. With Carson. That was like a couple years ago now,
yeah.
So yeah, next 30 to 40 minutes here, let's talk about what we saw over break, man. So as you saw in the thumbnail, we're here, we're now. We're gonna talk about Sonic. Nosferatu. Did you put Mufasa on here?
I did.
You watched Mufasa too?
I did.
So you know about my brother?
I did.
Let's talk about the good shit first. Let's talk about Sonic 3. One of my favorite surprises.
Not Mufasa.
Not Mufasa. We'll end off Mufasa. Not much to say. Sonic. Fantastic movie-going experience. One of my favorite movie-going experiences of the entire year at the 11th hour. I think this is like my 98th movie of the year. I got to 102 movies last year. I was very happy with myself.
I got half that, and I'm happy with myself.
Maybe this year you can go to 60. Maybe you go to 70 this year, Nathan.
There was one year I hit like the 80s.
Nice. Was it 2020? We're just watching bullshit.
I think it was 2019.
2019 was a big year, yeah. Sonic, dude. Full spoilers for everything we're talking about from here on in. Full spoilers for Sonic, Mufasa, and Nosferatu. So yeah, this is your chance to leave. If you have, or if you're going to leave, thank you. Like and subscribe, of course. Read our description, subscribe to everything, ring the bell. But yeah, Sonic movie 3. I think this is an excellent movie. It's so much fun. The comedy works for a vast majority of the time. Whereas in the other two movies, I'm like, okay, that didn't really work for me that time. But I chuckled a lot of this movie. Some of the jokes still didn't land. Like some of the when they're in Japan, it's like konnichiwa, or what was it?
Konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa. I'm like, yes.
You made me say it, you bitch.
But I was like, this is not for me. But mostly, a lot of the comedy worked for me. Unironically, the dancing scene between Gerald and Mr. Robotnik was a fantastic dance sequence.
It was
fucking amazing. Sonic's trio here, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, very heartwarming trio. They each had a lot to do, a lot to bring. Sonic dealing with the idea of leadership, dealing with his close attachments, not only to Tails and Knuckles, but mostly to his family, his human family. I forget his name.
Tom,
exactly. Tom and his wife is like his human connection, his heart, his attachment, and how the idea of how you handle these attachments, paralleling, comparing, contrasting with what happened with Shadow and how Shadow handles his attachments in a very not so healthy way, and how Sonic handles it, and all coming to a head in the climactic battle, which I think was fucking awesome. Had my whole crowd. Right? The whole crowd was going crazy. I had a fantastic theater experience where the crowd was jumping and going crazy and yelling.
I wish I experienced that, man. I was late to the game. I was like damn near 2 weeks late.
So you saw it with old people.
I saw it with no. But Yeah, no, hell of a time. I wish I was as deep in the cut of the Sonic lore to be like, oh sure, they're playing the fucking the guitar.
They played the theme during when they're Sonic and Shadow were saving the day. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, they did like I think they did a orchestral version of it toward the beginning of the movie because I saw it twice. And on the second time, I was like, oh shit, that's ooh. That's it. Yeah, I'm very compelled with the story of Shadow and the deep thought of that whole perspective that he existed with and his experience with Maria, and the whole idea of like the star continues to burn bright even after it's gone out.
Yeah, it was incredible. Yeah, the whole idea of the star. I was watching that. I'm like, a Sonic movie is hitting me emotionally with a peak like symbolism. The whole idea of the star, the sun going out and not really feeling it.
But what is grief?
Oh my god, dude!
If not,
when Sonic is beating him up and Shadow's like, "How do you feel now?" This is how
do
I
it.
feel. I'm like, "Oh my
Finish
god, this movie is cooking!" I was like, "Oh shit!" And Sonic's like punching him, like, "Oh my god, this is what Shadow went through." I'm like, "Oh, this is amazing!" It was so good. It was so good.
Oh, when he knocks out Tom, and he when he realizes like, oh wait, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah. And then Sonic walks in.
What did you do? What I had to.
God.
Keanu
cooked. He cooked.
He cooked.
In the funny moments too, with his whole reactions and commentary over the Latin show, that was hilarious.
Yeah. Revenge guac.
Yeah. Give me a second.
Yeah. Yeah, that was all good stuff. I liked Agent Stone quite a bit in this.
Agent Stone. Oh, Agent Stone. Fantastic stuff
He's
with
back.
Agent Stone and
Robotnik.
The homoerotic tension peak. Just so beautiful. The whole monologue at the end about how, and I love the way you did my clothes and the coffee. And I was like, oh my god, this is peak. Yes. I think everybody loves. I think there's not one person who watches these movies and hates the Stone and Robotnik dynamic. Not one person.
Which is so funny because this could have easily just been like such a random. I mean, I feel like if you watch the first movie, you're like, who the fuck is this henchman guy?
Yeah.
And like, what's this weird take on Robotnik? But then it still works in the first. It works in all of them.
It works in all of them. I think all of them have been so heartfelt and also heartwarming in a lot of ways, and very fun and appeals to the Sonic universe in such a fun way. But yeah, I think Tails at the end saving the day, like saving Knuckles and Sonic as they're falling down. Like I love that moment so much. Knuckles was hilarious. When they're like getting ready to ambush the tower in London, Knuckles is just like so impatient. I love that.
Yeah.
Shadow's whole storyline, like he said, with Maria was so beautiful. We mentioned like how to do flashbacks properly, and I think in Lord of the Rings, one of my issues was they didn't do enough flashbacks to flesh out the dynamic between the hero and the villain. But in Sonic, they fleshed out Shadow so well. Like just parsed through with each location that Sonic or that Shadow went through, just reflecting on his relationship with Maria, what really happened. It was so sad. Apparently, some people were laughing during Maria's death. I didn't have that in my experience, but thank God that didn't happen. And don't laugh during Nosferatu either, you idiots. People.
I hate when I watch a serious scene. I'll hear someone giggle. I'm like, bitch.
I want to slap them so badly. Yeah, I haven't had that happen to me in a while, but like,
is it funny now?
I hear that happening. I'm just like, man, I would hate that. Especially Nosferatu, where I think everything is taken seriously. Even though Nosferatu is like Edgar's like probably funniest movie a little bit. Lighthouse too was very funny.
Yeah, I got very lucky with my Nosferatu screening.
Good. Me too. But yeah, man, everything about Sonic. I think the visuals were great. The whole ending, the whole third act, my favorite third act of the year. Everything with the Shadow and Sonic fighting each other, Superman punching, portaling through realms or through locations was just so cool.
The visual style of Shadow's speed, where you basically teleports, so fast.
Yeah,
is really good.
Really cool. The Akira slide up the tower. Sick.
Oh,
Sick.
what the fuck?
That's so cool.
Who gave you the right
He's
for this much peak?
He's aura farming.
He's horror farming.
It was
I heard that
fantastic.
one.
And it was such a beautiful movie, man. I just love the family nature of this. Shadow was I knew he was gonna be great, but he was even better than I expected. A lot of his dynamics, his willingness to be manipulated, but still also being like, he understood what he was doing wrong, but he just felt like the road needed to burn.
All was lost anyway.
All was lost, exactly. But then Shadow and Robotnik saving the day at the end. Robotnik sacrificing himself. That was a surprise. Even though they'll find some way to bring Jim Carrey back in the next one. Whether it's Robotnik or like a future version of Robotnik. The ending seemingly hinting at a post-apocalyptic version of Sonic 4.
It did an interesting thing where like the explosion kind of made like a mini nebula.
Yeah. But we know Shadow should be safe. Obviously, because he's Shadow. But Robotnik seems to be dead.
Did you see both post-credit scenes?
Both?
Yeah.
Don't do.
I'm not fucking with you this time. I'm not.
I can't take you seriously. Don't look at me like that.
I know. And what's funny is like I started to smirk because you were feeling upset, which made me laugh. But
the one I saw with so the Metal Sonics appear.
Yes.
Amy appears at the end to save the day.
Yeah.
There's one after that?
Yeah, there's one at the very end.
What's the one at the very end?
I think it's only like 10 seconds. But like there's a close up on like the cuffs that Shadow took off, presumably to get even stronger. They're like one of them's found in the dirt, and then someone steps up to come get him, but it's clearly Shadow's shoes. Shadow lives.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Shadow lives. Is it unpopular opinion? I don't think Shadow should be in Sonic 4.
Yeah, it's unpopular.
Okay, but I think he should, because I think what we're looking at here, Metal Sonic, which had my crowd going crazy. Amy, love interest, romantic partner for Sonic. Depending on the variation, she has a huge crush on Sonic because she comes from the future. Like, I love you, Sonic. I saw all your, I heard about you so much, and then Sonic becomes smitten as well.
Did you pick up about this fan theory about I forget her name, but Tom's wife? How in every installment she's wearing a set of colors that is the color of the character that's teased in the post-credit scene of each movie.
No, what the fuck?
It's serious. In the first movie, she's like wearing all yellow, and then Tails is in the post-credits. In the second one, she's wearing red and black. Shadows in the post-credits. During this one, she wore pink at one of the scenes, and then Amy was in the post-credits. So it's been consistently proven track record. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So now when we watch 4, we gotta eye what she's wearing and be like, "Oh shit!"
When is Sonic 4 coming out? Is that next year? Probably.
I think I heard 2027 was the release.
Sonic 4, not the game, guys. Not Sonic 4 movie. 2027, yeah. So before Batman Part 2. We have 3 Sonics. Like, we saw Sonic 3. Sonic 2 was like 2022, I think.
The first one was 2020.
Yeah, 2020, 2022, 2025. Yeah. Anyways, man. So Amy, Metal Sonic, presumably she portals in from the future. Is that the highest theory happening right now?
I really don't know the lore.
Okay, and then there's a future Sonic called like Silver. So the idea is we could see Silver, Amy, Metal Sonic. And is there room for Shadow to appear in there? Maybe, maybe not. I wouldn't mind it, of course. I would want more Shadows always. There could be a future version of Robotnik that is the main villain, and that's how you bring back Jim Carrey from the future, a future Mr. Robotnik. That would be cool there. But yeah, this movie, man, it rocked my world. I had a very fun time with it. The jokes were just hitting me so hard. I felt like an emotional attachment to all the characters like I never did before. It was just a great movie. Great movie.
Absolutely. Fun time.
So I assume this is your number 1 movie of the year now?
No, I don't think. Let me actually look where
did you rank it?
I did. Do you want to say a top 10 at the end of this?
Sure, we can do that.
I will say I don't think it's in. Where is it? Sonic 3 I put at number. Oh wow, okay, yeah, number 29.
29. Nice.
It's actually like probably lower than you might expect.
But there's a lot of great movies last year.
Yeah.
It was my 20 something as well. I saw 100 movies, so Sonic was 4, 8, 12, 16, 17, 18, number 19 for me. Sonic 3. I liked it a lot. Better than Conclave. I'm kidding. I love Conclave, guys. I know people are just.
I got Conclave higher for sure.
Anyways, Nosferatu, my fourth favorite movie of the year. This movie stole my heart, guys. As a huge Edgar's Nosferatu. This movie stole my heart. I was going in
literally.
So yeah, literally. I felt like I was Lily in the scene. No, weird. Lily Rose Depp was enchanting as Helen.
Yes.
She was fantastic. Playing Ellen Hunter. Nicholas Hoult played a great Thomas. Bill Skarsgård stole the show as Count Orlok. Aaron Taylor Johnson was Friedrich. And the Van Helsing character of this franchise or this universe was
Willem Dafoe.
Ebert Vaughn. Yeah, Professor Albin Ebert Vaughn. But William Dafoe.
I did not know Aaron Taylor Johnson was in this movie.
Me neither. I forgot.
I was like, oh shit. I also
5 stars from Nathan.
Yeah. I also forgot that they released a look of Count Orlok prior to the film. And I definitely saw it and I remember being taken aback by it. But then I forgot clearly because then I was watching the movie again. Or the first time. I'm watching the movie and he's on screen and just his general look gives Russian. But also I'm watching and I'm like, oh, okay, that's not Orlok yet. This is like one of his like helpers. This is like his Renfield problem. No, it's him.
No, it's him. Dude, you mentioned it in your review I see here, but you say there's a shot with backlit fog in a forest tunnel with Nicholas Hoult. And it's one of the best scenes you'll see all year.
It's one of the best visuals. It's literally something out of my dreams. Like literally. It's beautiful. And which is funny because then I'm reading like all of our group chats reviews of it, and then one of them had that shot as their header of the review, and I was like, well, there it is.
Yeah. I'm watching this, and Jalen and I, we had a very similar reaction watching this as we watched like Across the Spider-Verse, where like every
That's
scene
so funny.
Like Across the Spider-Verse is like godly. I'm looking at it like that shot is gorgeous. And then in this movie, I'm like, this scene is gorgeous. Like the hand creeping across the town. Wow.
That is
like I saw it in
gotta be all timer.
I saw it in the teaser trailer. I'm like, how's it look like on the big screen? It looks fucking great.
No trailer has been my favorite as much as the first teaser. That was such a good trailer.
That was something else. That was great.
The build up of it all.
It was so good. But the real heart of the story is Ellen's whole dynamic with Count Orlok and the way Edgar's expertly fuses like the romantic desire or like innate desire within Ellen that's being like repressed. And so it's a careful balancing act that I think is achieved very well. That has not been achieved very well on social media reactions. But like it's a delicate balance because you're going to come across either way as like, oh, this person's like, you know, an invasive, monstrous creature, which he is. Mm-hmm. Nobody's saying he's not. Count Orlok, Nosferatu / Dracula. Famously, like this story, Nosferatu came about because in 1922, the director didn't have the rights to do a Dracula movie, so he made a Nosferatu with similar characters. His name is Nosferatu, not Dracula, not Van Helsing as Count von Urban or whatever. And then, of course, the wife of the Dracula, the wife of Bram Stoker's estate or whatever, said, no more. Delete every picture. And everything got deleted except famously one, and then that spread like wildfire and become a cult classic. Yeah. Hence, we have Nosferatu and Dracula now basically being the same but different.
And it is It is it is clear as day similar. If you like, even if you compare this version of Nosferatu to the original Dracula tale, it's the same. Like going to sign the papers for this new estate, and then the curse and burning the place where he rests to kill him off.
The ship,
the Last Voyage of the Demeter, your favorite movie.
Love that movie.
Is it that bad?
Not really. The ending, though, really like, oh, fuck you. The ending.
What did they tee you up for a sequel, which is just the rest of the Dracula story?
Right? It's like, oh, but Dracula lives and he just has a cane. I'm like, fuck off. What are you doing here? There's not going to be a sequel for your bomb ass movie.
Oh, really? He lives, huh?
So stupid. But yeah, what else is there to say about this movie? Like, I think Ellen, going back to Ellen, I think Lily Rose Depp was a revelation. She played that frantic, nervous, but inner strength kind of character in such a beautiful way, where she desperately misses her husband, but she also, like, from the very first scene, desires, just like an inner desire to be free, to have her own agency, and that's closely tied to the romantic-ish connection between her and Orlok. Both creatures, both bodies who are very much alone in this world. Obviously, Ellen has a husband, so she's not alone. But as a woman in this society, exactly. But then, and what's it called? Orlok, although he's a vampire, although he's this dark entity, he's also very much alone. And you see that coming to a head in the very last few seconds of the movie, where he glimpses the sun, but just can't let go of Ellen, who's also very much gripping onto him. So it's a very beautiful ending,
which I thought was for like the greater good, not only of like taking out this monstrosity, but also the taking back the agency, I guess, of like this situation. I feel as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that Willem Dafoe was like the first and only character to recognize her strength and her power and her agency and it all. Like, it must be you. So much so, leading down the two heroes, Thomas and the other doctor, played by my boy Reese.
That's Ralph Ineson, right?
Ralph Ineson, who I just love so much. Everything he's in.
He is the best. I can't wait to. He's Galactus. Goddamn.
Yeah, he plays Dr. Willem. Dr. Willem Sievers. He was great. Also, shout out to Emma Corrin, who this year played, of course.
Dude, I cannot tell you how much it was bugging me. I was watching the movie and I was like,
where is she from?
I know her. Where do I know her from? I was like, what is the name? Where am I placing the face? It was just, I've only ever seen her in Deadpool and Wolverine. I forgot that was her.
Let me see what else she's been in. I think it might have also just been Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah,
it's not too expansive of a filmography she has.
Yeah, it's not a lot of English stuff here from England. But yeah, her relationship with Ellen was also very sweet and endearing too, as she was only one of the ones who very much cared for Ellen, despite all her frantic and crazy nightmares that she was having. Much more understanding than Aaron Taylor Johnson, who very much loved his wife and was respectful towards Ellen, but just didn't really care for her or understand her plight as much as he should have. And Aaron Taylor Johnson's relationship with his wife was very heartbreaking as well, where he's very much a family man, and just the darkness is crumbling all around this entire film, but primarily the characters, and seeing Aaron Taylor Johnson struggle with that darkness, never being able to grapple with it, and being punished with the death of his wife and the brutal death of the children. Oh my God.
For all intents and purposes, a good man that was
broken,
brought low. Yeah.
Very low. What do you think about the scene with his wife at the very end, the dead wife, as he's at the coffin?
Oh my God, that was very well. It's nice to be reminded, like, yes, Aaron Taylor Johnson's a really good actor.
He's so good in here. He's so good here. Right after seeing Craven.
Right. But I think also, like, a great testament that I think a lot of horror films that succeed can do is create that sense of disorientation for the protagonist that's experiencing the horrors, whether it's like in a situation where, like, those that don't believe, or just going through the traumatic elements of the monster that's preying on them.
Big time, dude. I think the first instance of that is one of my favorite scenes. I mean, every scene in here is one of my favorite scenes, but Thomas's first visit to Orlok when he's in that darkly lit dining hall, and it's like, hey, can you go next to the fire? And he moved from the table to the fire, and it's very dreamlike. The whole scene is very dreamlike because Orlok is
Yeah,
like this nightmarish figure. He moves, and the next thing you know, he turns around and Orlok is right there. Like it's
yeah,
very eerie. It's like time and space are like not even a thing in this scene. And
yeah,
Nicholas Hoult is playing it so well. He's just like sweating, frantic. He's like signing it. Like he's
yeah. He
lucid
accidentally
enough.
cuts his finger, gets
Yeah,
Orlok's attention.
exactly. He cuts his finger. And it's just all this weird tension in that scene. I love the way that Nicholas and Bill played that.
It's so. I think that this created the biggest sense of claustrophobia, which I do have. Which I was watching it, and he wakes up every night with like new marks that he was fed on
Oh,
from the chest as well. Just the most like
yeah.
that's not as simple as just like sneaking that bite at the neck. That's like you have to get personal to get there.
It's so
Um,
gnarly. Yeah.
but the most claustrophobic bit being like every time like he would wake up during the day and then he's like his business isn't finished being conducted, so he has to meet Orlok again at night. And it's like, it's too late to leave now. You must stay and retire in the quarters we will complete tomorrow. And he's just stuck in this castle forever, trying to leave.
And dude, I was so like when Orlok pretty much like, oh yeah, I'm done with the guy. I got his blood and stuff like that, and we can just like kill him. And he signed the letters, and he
Took
wakes
the
up.
locket.
Yeah, took the locket. He wakes up, and it's like the wolves are coming down the hallway. Like imagine waking up and you hear like wolves just clambering down the hallway.
To
That
the
is
point that to the
terrifying.
point that he's driven straight out the window. It's like I'd rather take my chances.
Right? He's on the window, and I love the cutting back and forth they do between him and Ellen. Ellen's like, "Where's my husband? Like, your husband is fighting for his life. He is going crazy." And by the way, I like the setting. By the way, before they get to the castle, like seeing that little small religious village.
Yeah.
I love how Edgar's just discussing how in this society, a lot of the rich aren't aware of like the dark religious implications of what Nosferatu the vampire is, but it's the lower class of society that is most knowledgeable about the fears and the dark implications of what Orlok is and can do. Hence, like the big sacrifice that Thomas encounters. But yeah, he just dips in, jumps the river, and I was just like, oh my gosh. But yeah, terrifying opening for all of Thomas's scenes. I loved it so much.
Absolutely. And it's such a compelling just sense of manipulation from Nosferatu. Nosferatu is a very smart character. Orlok. In the sense like he has a contract drawn that is of a different lineage who like his Nicholas Holt's boss was effectively the Renfield to his Dracula. And like making up this this contract that he couldn't properly understand, but he just wanted to sign, get the fuck out of there, and it was to turn over his bride, right? And he even like taunts her with it, like he gave you away for a sack of coin.
Whew.
Like, oh no,
you're so messy, Orlok. And yeah, I love that one. The character Nicholas's boss or Thomas's boss, who becomes like you said, his Renfield basically. One scene's like eating a rat, and then Ralph Ineson walks in. He's like, "Why would you do that? Like, what are you doing?" It's just so matter of fact. It was very funny, but yeah, a very gruesome kind of character. The way he was eating those rats and just like following Orlok every step of the way. What a great movie! It's drenched in so much like dread and like darkness. Even the city, like people are just dying, like slowly, meticulously dying.
It brought the plague. Jesus.
Yeah, the plague is all over. The rats falling off the street. So much rats in this movie. So many rats. But yeah, this movie it really worked for me on a character level. The atmosphere is probably one of the best I've experienced with Eggers. He does such a good job with these period piece horror films. Every single one of his movies. It was filled with so much authenticity too.
Yeah, these like looking at it, like I still haven't seen The Northman. I really need to.
Oh, great movie, yeah.
But I don't think that's exposed. That's not especially horror, right?
No. Thriller.
Right. But looking at The Witch, The Lighthouse, the Nosferatu, um, it all like flows so beautifully of just like this great gothic horror anthology.
For sure. He said he wants to do like a medieval picture next, like a King Arthur. I mean, not King Arthur, but just something medieval with knights or something. I'm like, yes,
That'd be
please.
great. Yeah.
We haven't had like a knights period piece film that's taken seriously. If it's not like this white guy becoming a knight to save the day or whatever.
The Green Knight.
Green Knight's really good.
Really.
Subverts expectations very well.
God, Evan, the anniversary screening I went to in the IMAX, it is so beautifully shot. It is insane.
I need to do that. But last one here, Mufasa. I always wanted a brother. Better than I expected. I didn't mind this movie. Better than Sonic 3? No, I'm kidding.
I thoroughly believe that there is like the bones of this story is really compelling, and I know damn well if this was the classic art style of the 2D, this would have broke records, Evan. Are you kidding?
That's crazy. The first thing Jalen and I said at walking out were like, man, this was 2D would have been great.
Because like it's not an adaptation of another Lion King story. This is its own tale. I don't know if it's based on another Shakespeare work, but
I don't think so. But the story's pretty basic, but the way they go about it is pretty interesting. Like Simba, outcast, becomes a hero. Yeah, but like the cookie cutter way of it is pretty basic. But like I'm watching this and I'm like, some of the antagonists are just like whiter lions. I couldn't grasp the expressions. I know it's the same criticism from the other movie, but I just gotta say it again because it ruined this movie. Where the expressions from Simba and the other evil lions, I'm like, it lost all individuality. Where I couldn't really connect with much of the antagonists or heroes in a sense because like, which one is which? What's going on here? I couldn't. There are some like evil lions in this movie who are kind of like the hyenas, basically, to like the main evil person played by Antonio Banderas, apparently.
What?
Yeah, or no, not Antonio Banderas. It's Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
I thought it was Antonio during the movie. I was like, Antonio Banderas, but no, it's Mads Mikkelsen. I was way off. And I'm just like, those seem like interesting characters, but I can't really tell who they are. Like I watched Lion King 2 like for over Christmas break, and I'm like, man, the movie still rocks because like there's so much individuality in all the weird new characters. This one, I'm like, I can't really tell. But the story is pretty interesting. Mufasa kind of embarking on this tragic tale of his parents dying early on. His father at least. As we learned later on, he does reunite with his mother. I always wanted a mother. No, I'm kidding. And he comes across his mom, and that was a very heartfelt scene. But at the beginning of the movie, it reminded me of there's a lot of comparison between this and Lion King 2. The whole wave portion at the beginning of this movie, very akin to what happened at the end of Lion King 2. The whole Mufasa Scar example is very similar to Kovu and Kiara, except not romantic. But like, it's very
it's a driving force. The imagery of Taka grabbing Mufasa with his claws to help him up the cliff a couple times.
A lot. Yeah. 3 times, I think. 3.
I think 2.
It was legit 3 times. It happened earlier in the movie when he first saved Mufasa when they were kids.
Yeah.
Second time happened like in the middle of the movie. And then the third time at the very end when he saved Mufasa or whatever.
I think it was twice. And I saw the movie twice.
Oh, what?
So I did a day where I watched Mufasa, Sonic, and Nosferatu.
Shit.
And then a week or two later, or a week later, me and my nephew went to the movies and we watched Sonic and Mufasa.
Nice. He did no feature with you, crazy ass.
Yeah, because we were just going for Sonic, but then it was like, I mean, you wanna.
Never start too early.
Right.
But yeah, it was a solid story. I think the most interesting part was I didn't expect the Nala. Yeah, no. Who's Mufasa's wife's name?
Sarabi.
Mufasa and Sarabi to have such an interesting relationship. Where it's like it's the typical 3-wheel dynamic where she likes Mufasa, Scar likes her. She's like, what should I say to her? He's like, hey, do this, and that, and it works, but it doesn't work.
So it was funny. I'm watching them because I didn't expect that to happen for Scar to like Sarabi, and then as soon as he like sung that quick lyric, I was like, oh, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
this is the root.
Yeah, but their duet in the mountains, Mufasa and Sarabi, pretty good song. I actually liked that a lot. The one song that didn't like, always one of the brothers is getting played on Twitter. Not that bad of a song, actually.
It gets catchier the more you hear it.
People watch the full version that was clipped on Twitter. But the one I didn't like was the evil guy saying bye-bye. That was bad. That was very, very bad. I'm like, bye-bye? What the fuck? It was weird.
How old am I?
He kept saying it like, ha ha ha, bye-bye. I'm like, stop it. You
had a reprise.
It was not good.
Of it. I was like, okay.
Yeah. That's like my only bad song, but the songs here, I think Lin really cooked. Not all super memorable, but for the most part, they worked for the context of the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, again, the romance between Mufasa and Sarabi was very surprising, but I liked that whole dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And Mufasa coming into his own at the end, it was smart.
It's odd, Evan. This movie is both a prequel and a semi-sequel.
Yeah, because at the end, now Kiara has a brother.
That's not in
Lion King 2. No, it's not. So I'm like, do they want to do a Lion King 2? Because the movie's there.
Would you call it that?
What, Simba's Pride?
Yeah. Like, would they call it that? Would Kovu return?
I mean, you would have to. There's no Lion King 2 without Kovu and Kiara.
They do. Remember how excited we were? We're like, oh, they have He Lives in You on the soundtrack. Oh, it's exciting. It was in the credits.
Fuck you! I'm so pissed about that, John Favs. Fuck you.
Sad.
I'm watching the beginning of Lion King 2 and I'm like, this song bangs! It's so good! He lives in you. But yeah, that song would really I mean, that song's great in Lion King 2, and in this movie, most of the songs again worked. In comparison to like Moana 2, where none of the songs really worked for me.
Yeah. But that said, I think this movie didn't need the continuous intermission with Timon and Pumbaa.
Not at all. Every time that happened, Nathan and I have very similar thoughts of this movie because like it didn't really need to happen. It kind of took me out of the immersion of the past. And I was kind of locked in. Then it's like, oh, Timon and Pumbaa are still here and they're cracking jokes.
I know they wanted to like prop up like this is the legend of Mufasa, but then at the same time with the whole ending bit, it does feel like it is sequel bait.
Yeah, you didn't really need to do that.
Yeah, but like you really could have just started from the jump, no narration necessary, and just have the characters go on the journey like from Mufasa, and then because you don't really need the narration at all to like follow the plot. They just show up. Like, you know, Rafiki gets introduced at a point and it's like, yeah, they would have crossed paths. That's you don't need to have
at the end of the movie. You could have then just had Kiara waking up and be like, that's her or Kiara listening to the story. Kind of like the end of what's that one Lin movie in New York? At the very end they have like, oh, it was a story and it was like, hey, so this is how my mom. No, the other one.
Hamilton.
The one, the Hispanic people dancing in
the Heights.
In the Heights, yeah. It's like, oh, this is the story of how my mom and father met, like that kind of stuff. Whereas it's like, oh, this is the story of how Mufasa and Sarabi met and how they made Simba or whatever.
I will say I did like the moment where Kiara gets to see Mufasa in the sky.
That was great. That was a great moment.
That's nice.
So yeah, overall solid movie. Very much more better than I was expecting.
Yeah. I will say the love angle for Scar did feel very rushed.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you love her that much? Okay, wow. But I did understand his hatred towards Simba in a way. I feel like that could have been a bit more fleshed out, but I did like that angle of like Sarabi was one thing, but also it's like he was stealing his position within his own family as an outsider. Mm-hmm. Like even his own mother was complimenting Simba. His father was a little bit when he saved Simba, or when Mufasa saved him. I keep saying Simba. But like, yeah, so it was very cool thing that could work way better in 2D. Like, come on.
I do from from the anime aspect deep in my brain, the taking of the name Scar and it being a permanent reminder is very compelling.
Very, it's cheesy, but like I've seen worse. It worked. It was fine. Yeah, and I feel like that's one thing that had to happen. Is like, oh, you're gonna see how he became Scar. Scratch, he's Scar. So yeah, it's like we will only call you Scar. We won't call you by your name anymore. Like, damn.
Yeah, I think Aaron Pierre had a good voice for Mufasa, for young Mufasa.
I forgot he was young Mufasa, but he was good. Yeah.
Keith David is his dad, and I was like, fuck yeah.
Fuck yes. Keith David rocks. But yeah, it's pretty much it. Mufasa, solid movie. So yeah, I would recommend people go watch Sonic, go watch Nosferatu, then go watch Mufasa. It's not as bad as you would expect. If you even a little bit enjoyed the 2019 movie, you should go watch this one. It's a better movie. And yeah, of course, I feel like they'll make more of these kind of movies for The Lion King. It's an easy franchise to do. It's already made over like $500 million. So I think there's already a rumor that they're making another one. Would it be Lion King 1.5? Would it be Lion King 2, which is the best one? You never know.
What is the current box office to budget of Mufasa?
Mufasa, I think, had like 200 million. Right now, it's made like 550, or I think it just crossed 500. So it's doing very well for itself. Sonic just crossed like I think 300 worldwide or 270 worldwide. I forget, but it's already the highest grossing Sonic movie, which is good. And Eggers is the highest grossing Eggers movie for Nosferatu. Second highest grossing horror of 2024 behind Beetlejuice.
That's great.
So very happy for everybody involved this Christmas break.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's about it.
Real quick, Evan, do you have a functioning top 10 of the year?
Oh yes, I do. Let's go do that real quick. I'll go from the top. No,
from 1? No, go from 10.
Or 8, 9, 10. So my 10 was tied between A Real Pain and Long Legs, but okay. I think I went with Long Legs being my 10, even though I really love A Real Pain. So just know that Real Pain's like my honorable mention number 11.
Which one was A Real Pain again?
With Jesse Eisenberg and
that's right. Yes,
Kieran Culkin. I love that movie. Yeah. Long Legs, horror movie, but the serial killer Nicolas Cage in there. Number 9, Hitman, Glenn Powell. Nice. Number 8, Challengers, Zendaya. Love that movie. Number 7, Look Back, the anime film on Amazon Prime. Fantastic. It's 75 minutes, but it's one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen. Furiosa, number 6. Sing Sing, number 5. Colman Domingo. It's releasing back in theaters this month. Go see it. Nosferatu, number 4. Hell yeah. Honora, number 3. Love Honora. That should be winning Best Picture everywhere.
Wow.
Number 2, The Substance. Peak.
God damn, I really didn't know you loved it that much.
I loved it, dude. Especially when I rewatched it with Jalen. That was so good. And then number 1, of course, Dune Part 2.
Nice.
Hit me, Nathan.
There we go. Yeah, this is about as structured as it'll be. I'm still catching up on some flicks, and they might interject, but yeah, this is pretty clear cut. Number 10, I do have Deadpool and Wolverine.
Wow. Shocker. That is shocking, actually. I didn't know you.
It's a good movie, damn it. We all can't have fun for one weekend and then just forget.
It's a fun movie.
It is. Number 9, I have Trap.
Wow. I did not like Trap that much.
I did.
People love that movie. Yeah.
You know, I wasn't as enthralled by, like, I guess the ending bit as much, but like when he's just navigating through and outsmarting, it's really fun to watch.
Yeah, it's two very fun movies in a row there.
Yeah. Number 8, I have Smile 2.
Shit, yes. Naomi Scott should be getting a lot more praise. Yeah.
So good. Number 7, Transformers 1.
Peak. So good. Excellent movie.
The better I've always wanted a brother.
Yes.
Number 6, Quiet Place Day 1.
Wow, yeah, that was number 1 for a long time. Yeah, that was good. Peak. Very much more somber and heartfelt and slower than I was expecting, but very good movie.
Absolutely. I'll never forget where the power went out in the last 5 minutes.
Oof.
Number 5, I got The Wild Robot.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Loves Wild Robot.
Josh Beware.
Josh hates that movie, man.
It's insane. He's the one man on the planet. Number 4, I got Nosferatu.
That's what I'm talking about. Number 4, Twins. There we go.
There we go. Nothing else. Nothing else. Number 3,
Dune Part 2.
Joker. I don't have Joker up here. I'm just kidding.
I know it.
No, I got Dune Part 2.
Yep. Number 3 is Dune Part 2. Number 2, Challengers. Number 1.
I'm sorry, Evan. Challengers was number 13.
Oh, wow.
13.
What's your number 2?
My number. I'll give you one more guess.
Challengers.
It is a horror film.
What other horror film came out this year? Is that Longlegs? No. What is it? What's number 2?
Number 2, Alien Romulus.
Oh, wow. Yes. Kaylee Spaney, Queen.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great.
And number 1, best.
Did Isabella Berside, did she survive that movie? Is she dead?
No, she died.
She gave birth and died in the birth.
She gave birth and then she got.
Oh, she got eaten.
Vacuum sealed.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not great.
And number 1, I had Wicked.
No one mourns the wicked. Bow, bow.
It's not my favorite lyric, but
I love that song. That's my favorite.
that's good. Well, I think that's part of Defying Gravity.
Yeah,
No, that's the opening song.
Yeah. Defying Gravity's peak, of course, but I like No One Mourns the Wicked a lot. And Popular.
Popular is great. Dancing Through Life is great.
That's like the one scene where I'm just like, I can feel the visual oof in that scene. But it's still very good. But also, I like the one where they're like, they realize they don't like each other. What is that called? Is that Popular?
That's when they don't like each other. That's it's give me 10 seconds.
Like, what is this feeling?
Yeah. It's
shit. I forget what it's called.
That's not the song.
No, wrong song. They're singing the Jeopardy song.
God damn it! It's I'll get it. All right, do your outro. Where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter, Harris EV9. This is Castlevania Nocturne Season 2 week. I need everybody to watch it so they can do a Season 3. I don't know why Netflix didn't automatically greenlight it after Season 1, but they didn't because they're idiots. But we need more Castlevania in our lives. So you guys can find me on Twitter, Harris EV9. We're watching Castlevania. I'm getting very far in my Enemies to Lovers book called Monsoon Rising. It's a sequel to Hurricane War. It's such a great book. Enemies to Lovers, peak. Very Raylo themed. But that's pretty much it. And then I saw Den of Thieves 2 last weekend. Very fun movie.
I didn't realize Den of Thieves 1 was very recent. I didn't know it was 2018.
2018, yeah. It's on HBO Max if you want to watch it.
I thought it would be like a 200007 action dad classic.
Nah.
Also, the song is called "What Is This Feeling?"
What is wow?
So simple.
I said, "What is this feeling?" too. Yeah, I didn't know that was the title of the song. So yeah, Nathan, where can they find you?
You find me _Time Blazer, big and chill called Time Blazer with co-star and creative consultant Evan Harris.
Playing band, just band today.
Okay,
just chilling. I don't think Ben has a top 10 list. He's too busy.
So it's funny. I've been doing like a refined, just for fun. I've been doing a refined dream actor to play in live action these characters, and every actor I keep circling for Ben is their late 30s, early 40s every time, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Wow. By the time this comes out, I'll be my late 30s, early 40s.
But that being said, every time I am casting somebody, I just kind of like imagine them at the age they should be of the character. It doesn't matter like what they are presently.
Okay.
That's unrelated. If you like this, hit like button, subscribe, not already, ring the bell. Same as all things movie and TV we cover. And that being said, hope you have a great day. Catch you guys next time.